I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog.stampwithelaine.com. Celebration 2020 is drawing to a close and there's only 5 days left to earn this stamp set free called Well Dressed, and this is the card we're making with it today. To earn this stamp set free, you need to qualify with a £45 spend in the UK. For this card I use the Positive Thought stamp set, which is £20. The Itty Bitty Greetings at £33, or you can choose the Stitch Rectangle dies, which is also at £33, and then an embossing folder. This one is called Absolutely Argyle. It's a 3D embossing folder and that retails at £9.25, and then you can earn this stamp set for free. The card base is in Merry Merlot. It's half an A4 sheet in Europe. That measures 8 1/4 by 5 7/8 inches. That's 21 centimetres by 14.85 centimetres. I have a grey granite layer. This is for embossing with, and that measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. That's 14.3 centimetres by 9.8. We have a Whisper White card insert, and that measures 5 1/2 by 3 3/4, so that's 14 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. We also need a scrap of Merry Merlot to emboss this sentiment, and half an A4 sheet in Whisper White, so that measures the same as a card base at 5 7/8 by 8 1/4. Basic rhinestone jewels and a dark cherry cobbler stamping blend. The inks I'm using are grey granite, Merry Merlot and Versamark. We also need embossing buddy and white embossing powder and a heat tool. So let's get started. Now on my half an A4 sheet I've put that right in the corner, and with my stitch rectangles, we'll call this large nest of rectangles the narrow rectangle nest and the single one. So we need the single one. I'm just going to die cut a blank because the hat has to be stamped separately, and we're going to be using in the narrow nest second and third. So we need one narrow one for the watch and keys, and we need 2 of the third largest for the tie and the umbrella. In this nest we need the second smallest, and that's for the shoe, and we have to shorten it. It's best when you're putting any rectangle die through the die cutting machine is to have it at an angle that minimises your dies from bowing. So let's set those aside. What I've done is I've also traced around the outer edge of the dies so I know where to place my stamps. So I've already set that up. Ink up the stamps. The feather is in Merry Merlot, so I'm just going to ink that up as well. Put your plate in at right angles and then just stamp. So now I will go and die cut all those and fussy cut the feather and hat. I've reset my Stamparatus to stamp a second shoe. I'll have to fussy cut the shoe and also the hat. I'll set my die cut pieces and the feather aside for the moment, and we're going to emboss this with the Argyle 3D embossing folder. This is the new style 3D embossing folder, so you need a blue plate. So I'm going to line it up with that line there, and then shut it, and I'll be back. Next I'm going to do the greeting, embossing buddy to prevent static, Versamark ink, happy birthday greeting from the Itty Bitty Greeting stamp set. Oh, this has lost its stickiness. I'll try again. Need the smallest of the narrow stitch rectangles to die cut that, so I'll be back. Now we're going to do the inside of the card, and I'm just going to stamp some patterns over here without re-inking. You can glue this to the inside of the card. Adhere the grey granite embossed layer. There are all my die cut pieces. This one needs a little bit of work. I'm going to bring in my cutting healing mat and just cut a slot where the band is on the hat, so I can tuck the feather in. Now the feather might be a bit too big, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. Grab a glue dot, stick it on the hat, adhere that to the smallest stitched rectangle here, the blank. Glue it onto the card in the top right hand corner. To leave that sort of border around the grey granite. Now I've already put dimensionals on the back of this and taken the backing strips off to save time, and I'm just going to adhere that to the edges of, well, fill it in like a jigsaw puzzle. Line that up, and this one I'm going to have flat because I've put dimensionals on the shoe here. You can't go around with just one shoe, you have to have a pair. So let's glue that piece, tuck that in, oops, and do the same with this. This one isn't raised, this one's glued directly onto the cardstock, like so. That can go like so, and then on this one you have a double stack of dimensionals. Next I'm going to colour the rhinestones, one in large, medium and small. Finishing touch, pick up the rhinestone and pop one there, followed by the medium, and lastly the large. So that's the card completed. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Thanks for joining me today. All the supplies are listed below in the Show More section. You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Don't forget, there's only 5 days left to the end of celebration, and if you want to bag yourself this freebie, then don't delay. Thanks for watching. Bye.